Hello, it's Sunday morning. It's time to talk about the books I read this past week. There are a lot of them. I read a lot of books this past week. How do I feel about them? There was one I really, really liked. There was one I was pretty okay with, and then there was one that there were a couple that were terrible. There were just a handful of meh sprinkled in there. So let's get started. First up, the first book I finished this past week, Some Shall Break by Marney. So this is the sequel to, what is it, None Shall Sleep, which is YA Silence of the Lambs. So this one kind of takes that and keeps running with it. It's okay. I feel like I like the first one more. I rated both of them 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but I think the first one had a better execution and had a better plot and it had a better kind of concept holding it together. In this one, we've got another serial killer, and this one is really going after Emma and people who are like Emma. And it was okay. I feel like she's really setting up for a third book, which if she comes out with one, I'll probably read, just based on the ending of this one. It was okay. If you're looking for a half-decent slasher, horror, thriller, young adult duology, as of right now, you could do worse than the series. They're okay. After that, I read one of the worst books of the week. Oh my god. So, this book, when it came out, before it came out, a lot of people were talking about it, they were hyping it up. It came out, it was like 2017, so we were like, there's like, oh, all the characters are queer, and everybody's really happy about that. And then like, people started reading the book, and they're like, this book is like colonialist and stuff. And then the author herself had some allegations made against her, and I read the book recently, this past week, and here's the thing, it's just straight up not good. Like, all those other things are you know, true, like about the book. I don't know anything about the author herself, but it's also straight up not good. And that is 27 Hours by Tristina Wright. So this book follows a whole, like, too many characters for this long of a book. And they're on this planet, and nights are a little bit longer, but we never really actually talk about that. We just have to know that nights are longer, and there's these like, there's this an indigenous species of the planet that they call gargoyles that are coming to like kill them and stuff like that. And it is a very heavy-handed racism metaphor with the gargoyles, with these guys. And it was just poorly written. It was heavy-handed. The characters, there were, yes, all the main 5 are queer in some way. But all the relationships with each other were so fast. It was so fast. Even the ones that had supposedly been friends, you know, forever, we didn't see any of that development. We didn't really see why this character would like this character back in any way. The other character, I liked Braden. Although, here's the thing. All of these names, the names of the main characters, stop me if this wouldn't be a name in a 2nd grade classroom of today. We've got Rumor. We have a Riot in our school, so Rumor for sure. We got Jude, Nix, Dahlia, Braden. These are all 2nd grader names of today. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Braden gave it that 0.5. All right, then I read a Western. It was okay. This is one of the handfuls of okay books. It's Noose by Eric Red. This is a book about a bounty hunter who, when he is tracking down his latest hunt, the person that he is bounty hunting ends up getting shot and taken by a group of terrible bounty hunters, and then they frame our main guy for murder, and it's like a cat and mouse game. They're trying to catch him before he goes and clears it all up, and it was fine. You know, it was fine. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Pulpy, it's fine. All right, then I read another book that was just fine. A little bit better, I think, the last one. That is A Surrey State of Affairs by Ceri Radford, this follows the stupidest woman in the world. She is a middle-aged woman in England, and her son is gay, and her daughter is a party girl, and she understands neither of these things to be true. Her husband's sleeping with their housemaid, their Eastern European housemaid, also something she doesn't understand. And she is just so happily going about her life, knowing nothing. And I realized that was the point of this book, but it was still vaguely irritating. Like, I understand that the point of this book was that our main character was an idiot. Like, that was the point. The point was that she cannot see what's in front of her own two eyes. It was fine. This is not like, I have some issues with the British sometimes, and their cadences and how they write things. This is, however, kind of like a diary form, which made it go quickly. I don't know. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like, it was, again, it was in that like handful of okay books that I read. It was fine. All right, then another okay book. I read a biography of a man who when I was 8 years old, I hated with every fiber of my being. That's President George W. Bush by Beatrice Gormley. I don't really know what to say about this. It's a children's biography of George Bush. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was fine. All right, then we're back to the bad stuff. This one is at least like hilariously bad, and that's Too Good to Be True by Francine Pascal. I still somehow have Sweet Valley High books in the book wall. Somehow I still have Sweet Valley High books in the book wall. Like, where did they all come from? I feel like they're reproducing in there. This particular volume follows the twins, and their parents have enough money to send one of them to New York, but not both of them. And Jessica ends up going because of course she does, and Elizabeth stays home to hang out with their with like a family friend named Suzanne, who is coming to stay in Sweet Valley while Jessica is in New York. And Suzanne seems like the perfect girl, but she's also like a little sociopath. It was stupid. It's a Sweet Valley High book. It's stupid in the ways that Sweet Valley High books normally are. My man Winston did save the day here. Winston remains the best Sweet Valley High character, and I cannot believe his ending. I'm going to read it to you guys. So I looked up, if you look up Sweet Valley High characters, so we look up Sweet Valley High, we go to Wikipedia, we go to characters, and we go all the way down to Winston Egbert. Listen to this. Winston Egbert, the class clown, had a major crush on Jessica, mainly during the first few books. He dates a girl named Mandy Farmer, who later moves away and then begins dating Maria Santelli, a popular cheerleader in college. In college, he starts going by the name of Winnie, and a clerical error leads to his placement in an all-women's dorm, where he meets popular sorority girl Denise Waters, arguably the love of his life. Unfortunately, life after university sees Winston transform from a goofy, cheerful oddball into a mean, resentful businessman whose wealth from the dot-com boom can't cure his loneliness. After a night of drunken debauchery, he falls from a balcony to his untimely death. What? There's that. Who's the one who dies after a cocaine bender? I know there's one of them. Who is it? Oh, Regina. It's Regina Morrow. She's the one. Anyway, the best book I read this past week. It was The Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This, again, is a 2017 release. This is one that was really big when it came out, and people really loved it. This is like a modern retelling of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and it follows like descendants of the original characters. We've got Charlotte Holmes and James Watson, and they end up at the same like prep school, and then people start dying, and it's very fun. It's very cute. I really like Jamie as a main character. I really do. I think he's really, really likable. He's really interesting. The voice is really, really good. I don't quite know how I feel about Charlotte yet, but I do think that I could warm up to her in future books. I like the concept. I like the murders. Overall, this is a really solid start to the series. I do have all the other books in the series just added to my Amazon wish list because it is very good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was a good time. Then I read the worst book I have ever read on my Kindle. So yesterday I was at an archery tournament because archery is 4th through 12th grade, and I had literally most of the 4th and 5th graders competing. So I went, and in between, rounds and stuff like that, I would read. And one of the things I read is I did finish up studying Charlotte, but I only brought one book. So then I was forced to delve into the depths of my Kindle. And I read a couple of books. The first one, like I said, worst book I've ever read. It's worse than Left Behind by Tim LaHaye, which is a feat in and of itself. And that is Call of the Cherokee by F. Gardner. Put up a picture there. So this book, I can't even tell you what this fucking book's about. So the book starts, and we've got these friends, these guys, and they're going to this old creepy movie theater. And it's gonna be super cool. And then it's Backrooms, and then it's Escaped Mental Patient, and then it's the Pope, Like, there's so much going on. Like, I didn't know what the book was trying to be. The book didn't know what it was trying to be. And all the while, the grammar, oh my God, it was written by an 8th grader. I swear to God. Like, the grammar was terrible. We had so many paragraphs where multiple people would speak. And I'm like, oh, this is so bad. It's so bad. The characters were completely interchangeable. Like, I try to be nice to my self-published friends because I am also a self-published person, especially when it comes to grammar and like typos. I know I got typos in my book. I know I do, because you can't catch everything when you yourself are doing it. But this is beyond typos. You know, this was clearly an issue that the author did not know was wrong. You know, like if I see a typo in my books, like I know it's wrong and I'm like, ah, darn. But this happens so frequently. I was like, no, this is just what the author thinks is right. Oh, so bad. 1 out of 5 stars. Like I said, worst book I've ever read my entire life. Worse than Left Behind. That is a feat. After that, after I read the bad book, I read a book that was an ad. Basically, it was a 200-page ad for like Izzy Publishing. That is 10 Secrets to a Bestseller by Tim McConnehey. I can't say anything about this book. It was an ad. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read 2 manga, and both of them are part of series that I'm not like reading in order or care about at all. So that definitely affected my rating of them. So apologies to people that do love these series, because I do know that these series are better than I give them credit for, just because I'm not personally interested in them, and I just have the volumes for some godforsaken reason. The first one is volume 102 of One Piece. I read the first volume, I watched the first episode of the anime, and then I read this one. I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Like, it's like, I know that if I had an attachment to these characters and an attachment to the plot, I would have liked this better. Same thing with Inuyasha 21. Again, if I had an attachment to the characters or attachment to the plot, I'd like it better. 3.5 out of 5. This one I actually I don't know anything about the beginning of the story, but I have read a handful of other volumes of this. So that's that. So currently I am reading a book that I know is going to make me cry. Like, I've read the prologue and I'm like, this book is going to make me cry. And that is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, which is about a terrible like reform school and racism, and it's going to make me cry, and I know it's going to make me cry. So there's that. These are the books plus those Kindle books that I read this past week. That is all for today. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.